It's there! Holy moly, this one's going to go big!
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So then, there are two machines that I want to cover in this video. The one on the left here called Apache, which we believe is the third and final of the plasma dot matrix display machines. This is a new one on me. Big Chief, of course, I was aware of. Clickety Click I wasn't aware of. I never knew there was a third one. This one here called Apache. A couple of people over at Desert Island Fruits did say that they have seen them before. There were a couple knocking around back in the early 90s, but I've never seen one. And this is not a clone of the Big Chief. Let me be clear about this, even though it looks very similar. And there are the two of them running side by side. I appreciate that to the casual observer you would say, well, they're just clones. They're clearly clones, they're clearly reglasses of each other, but they're really not. Apache is quite a different machine, and I would say it's actually a better machine, and that's saying something, because I really like the Big Chief. But we'll go into Apache in a little bit more detail in this video, but I will say up front, it's really not a clone, and I found it very interesting to play it in the emulator. And the other one that we're going to be covering in this video here on the right hand side is a BWB video game from, we're going to say 91, 92, 93, something like that. It doesn't have a date on it. This is a bonkers machine, so batshit in fact that we didn't originally know what it was. Insofar, it was originally released over at Desert Island Fruits by Chloe here as BWB Time Bandit, and it was flagged as an SWP. That has now been corrected because we've kind of worked out that it's not an SWP. That's a skill with prizes, of course. This is one of the weirdest AWPs that you have ever seen. Actually turns out that this is a £6 jackpot AWP, but you could be forgiven for thinking on a sort of an initial play session that it is some weird kind of SWP, but it isn't. It is a video AWP. I have never seen one of these before. To be honest with you, it's a little bit rough and ready. I don't know if it was a test machine or if it was a full production machine or if it was even some kind of development machine. They hadn't quite finished it. I mean, the fact that the ROMs exist and they run suggests that this got as far as a finished machine. Can't say for sure. I certainly never saw a real one of these back in the day, so this has been another fascinating one to play in the emulator. So both of these here are new ones on me. I never knew there was a plasma screen machine called Apache, and I've certainly never clamped eyes on this Time Bandit before. But what we're going to do in this video is play both of them, have a closer look at them, and generally just enjoy a couple of genuine historical curiosities via the medium of emulation. Now, first up, as ever, let's do the thanks. Apache was released by Wizard. He didn't realise that we had the ROMs for this one. That was the thing. Off the back of the previous video and the previous release, that was Clickety Click, and I did the video about Big Chief and Clickety Click. Wizard then found the ROMs for Apache in kind of the master collection. He said himself, I didn't realise we had the ROMs for this, so he knocked up a layout. So thanks to Wizard for Apache, and of course, as ever, of course, thanks to Wizard for the emulator itself. We've got Chloe to thank for Time Bandit here. Apparently what Chloe does is sort of go through the ROMs that are available. Anything that looks like it might be a runner has a go at knocking up a layout, and if it all comes together, they are released for us. So thank you very much to Chloe for Time Bandit, because this has been great to play again. And also thanks to Wizard for this extra little bit of information, because if you remember in the previous video, I was kind of trying to work out why this plasma technology was so short-lived. In the previous video, I was kind of thinking, well, it was just Big Chief and Clickety Click. We do now have a third machine, so we've got this Apache as well, but by all accounts, this is it. This is the lot. We have got 3 machines that use this plasma DMD display, and I was kind of saying, well, it must come down to the money. Either the machines were too expensive to make, or they didn't make enough money. You know, the extra cost of the machine to Barcrest to the operator wasn't reflected in the cash box, and maybe it comes down to the unreliability of the tech as well, because if a machine breaks, obviously it can't be taking any money. A machine that's turned off will not take any money, and of course there was no doubt that that screen there, the plasma DMD itself, would add to the cost of the machine. But an extra fascinating bit of information here from Wizard himself is saying that the plasma screen needed a processor all of its own. So the plasma screen driver board, you can see here from Wizard, Also interesting is that the plasma display driver board uses a 68,000 CPU, which is way more powerful than the 6809 used in the MPU4 board itself. Now, I found this very interesting, so I sent a private message to Wizard and asked him if he could furnish me with a little bit more information about that board, and he got back to me and said, you know what, I might actually be able to dig some pictures up of the board from my old Big Chief machine, because Wizard owned a Big Chief himself. He's now moved it on, but he did have some pictures, and true enough, thank you very much to Wizard, he did find these pictures for me out of his own archives, and this is what the Plasma DMD driver board looks like in machines like Big Chief, Clickety Click and Apache. And as you can see, it's not a tiny little piece of tech. This is just for that screen, just for the display. It's got a whole board all for itself. That big chip there will be a 68,000 CPU, and everything else on that board, of course, is the sort of supporting chips and supporting bits and pieces to get this thing running. And Wizard furnished me with a bit more information about it. What he says, and I'd wondered about this, and he did confirm it for me, that the display was exactly the same type as used in pinball machines of the day. If you remember, Williams and Bally in particular were using DMD displays in their pinballs at this time. I had a couple of pinballs myself that used this very same display, and I'll tell you now, they were not cheap. So not only do you have the board itself, you've also got the display, and on the board you've got the 68,000 CPU. All the graphics that are displayed are contained in the plasma board ROMs, which will be on this board here, so they are unique to each game. And Wizard said to me that the MPU4 talks to this board via the alpha port connector, which is a serial interface. It sends commands to the plasma board to initiate the animations. So it's the 68,000, that's that CPU there, the 68,000 CPU that does all the work, and it drives the display via a high-speed serial interface. And Wizard said that he eventually passed on his machine to Mr. P's arcade, and he heard back that the display failed pretty quickly after it had gone out on the floor at Mr. P's. Speaking from my own experience with pinballs of the day, the screens were fairly reliable, but they did go wrong. The screens themselves could go wrong. You could get problems on the board, or the supporting gubbins that was in the back box of the pinball. In these fruit machines, you had these boxes here. Either way, you're adding a lot of complication to what is basically a standard AWP. You're adding cost, you're adding parts, and you're adding stuff that can fail. If you add all this stuff together, I think it becomes quite easy to see why these things didn't take root. The 68,000 CPU in particular, by the way, to give you an idea, that was the same CPU that was used in the Commodore Amiga, the Atari ST, the Sega Mega Drive used a 68,000 as its primary CPU, and it was very, very popular in arcade machines right the way throughout the sort of mid-80s onwards into the early 90s. Many arcade machines, if you load them up in MAME, by the way, when you get the splash screen in MAME where it shows you what the hardware is inside the machine, chances are if you load up a machine from the late 80s, early 90s, it's going to have one or more 68,000 CPUs in there. The point being, add all this together, the board, the CPU, the supporting wiring looms, the display itself, you are adding on a fair chunk of cost to these machines for ultimately what we can only assume was not enough in the way of reward. There we have a slightly more zoomed out picture of the same board, and you can see there all of that is literally just to get this display working, and that is on top, of course, of the display itself. And then we have to add into the mix the fact that by all accounts, anecdotally, these things were not the most reliable bits of tech in the world. Add all that together and we can start to see why Barcrest dropped this. By all accounts now we're saying 3 machines. They use these displays in just 3 machines. And Wizard also said that having done a full search on every known available ROM, he can only find 3 MPU4 ROMs that reference using this DMD plasma display. So it looks like that may genuinely be the lot. That is it. Just these 3 machines that used this screen there. And there indeed is a picture that Wizard dug out. He posted it over at Desert Island Fruits of his own Big Chief machine. You can see there, that one's running on the £2.40 cash £4.80 token jackpot. You can also see one interesting thing is it's got a high-low reel there, or it's got rather the cutout for a high-low reel, but it wasn't actually implemented. There was no high-low reel in this machine. And interestingly, inside, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see there, this is a Big Chief, and we have got feature exchange lamps next to the wins there. But of course, on Big Chief, there are no feature exchanges. So not only have we got a cutout there for a high-low reel, you can see that as clear as day. That wasn't used, and it wasn't used on Apache or Big Chief. And then on Big Chief, we've got feature exchange lamps, which weren't used either. However, and we'll come to that now, they were used on Apache. So before we get onto the machines themselves, I will just leave it there. We can only speculate. We can't say for 100% certain because it's been lost to the sands of time, but we know for a fact that we're adding on the expense of a screen, we're adding on the expense of the board, we're adding on the expense of a 68,000 CPU. All the associated bits and pieces was going to make these machines more expensive to produce, and if that wasn't reflected in the cash box, or they were unreliable, or operators weren't happy with them, whatever, they just weren't going to survive in the marketplace. The other thing that occurred to me after I'd made the previous video is because of course these machines here, Apache and Big Chief and Clickety Click, they're using the Yamaha synth sound. If you think about it, at this time all of Barcrest competitors were moving to full sampled sound packages. Mege, BFM and JPM were just starting to go in that direction as well. So even though I'm personally a big fan of the Yamaha synth sound, we've got to admit that next to a full sample package, it was going to start to sound a little bit old-fashioned, and once you start adding in samples, you're going to need extra hardware for that, you're going to need ROM chips for the samples, all of that is going to add cost as well. So I guess Barcrest had to decide what route to go down. Something had to go, and it looks like it was the display that was sacrificed to keep the costs of these machines down and keep them competitive in the marketplace. But the good news is, the great news is, we can play them in the emulator here in the year 2019. So with all that said, sorry, a little bit of preamble there, but I think these are genuinely, historically quite important in terms of fruit machines. I think they're quite significant for fruit machine emulation. So I think it's worth giving them what is, in my humble opinion, the appropriate amount of exposure, because these three machines here, they're just a complete one-off in a very short period of time back in 1991. But enough of that, let's put some money in Apache and actually get going. So we're going to start with Apache here, so we'll just put a $5 in. And yes, I know this really does look completely the same as Big Chief at this moment in time, but hopefully as we start to play it, you will see that it's really, there are quite a few differences about this. Now, we have got different music. That great funky Yamaha synth chip music. Now, fundamentally, it does play, although we've got a line already, it's just dropped straight in. I don't think it's very good, the top one, so the line has just dropped straight in there. Line number 1 for 6 free plays, and you may have noticed a difference. Oh, hang on. Now we can actually get a win here. Now, if you remember on Big Chief, the problem with the wins was, when you got a win, it was just a win. It was simple as that. You couldn't do anything else. It just collected. All that would happen there on Big Chief is you'd get £1 in the bank, whereas on this, we get a high-low gamble and a feature exchange. So what I'm going to do is try and take all the features, because this is the big difference between Apache and Big Chief. And this on balance is why I prefer Big Chief, because you've got feature exchanges and a high-low gamble. It isn't all just about the lines. So let's do an exchange. So there's not much to this one. You just kind of press collect there and you get what you're given. So let's do that. How did we do? Not very well. I've changed the coin decals there to 50p. I'm not entirely convinced that they are 50p on this. There certainly weren't 50p there. I haven't quite worked out how the add in. Definitely I got 80p there for 4 coins, so I may have made a boo-boo on that. haven't quite sussed that one out there. So the lowest feature down there, you can... Oh, we've got another line. It's just dropped straight off. Fucking hell, £1.20 bonus. Now, what you may have noticed here with the lines is that you don't get a choice. If you remember on Big Chief, when the line dropped in or you nudged in a line, you got a choice of 2 different features by using the left and right hold button. You don't get that. We don't want that line, do we? Because it's shit. We know that line's shit. Whereas on Apache, you just get what... In fact, we don't want that because we know line 1 is crap. Whereas on Apache, you just get what you're given. So in that regard, it is a little bit... Ooh, nearly. It is a little bit more limited, but I think it more than makes up for it. I'll just put another fiver in there. I think it more than makes up for it with the wins high, being able to high-low the wins, and also... Can we get a win there? We can't get a win there. And you've got the feature exchanges as well, and I think it's worth sacrificing the ability to choose a feature off the lines in favour of... Oh, there we are. We've got another win there. I would rather have... Ooh, Wheel of Fortune is quite good for this. I'd rather have the feature, the high-low gambles and the feature exchanges. So we'll take this one here, Wheel of Fortune. This one makes really good use of the screen. What happens is you get 3 spins on the Wheel of Fortune. It can pay a jackpot, this. Oh! So I think we'll probably collect £3 there. We'll collect our £3, so we got £3 repeat. It can pay a jackpot, that. I have had jackpots off it. So what we did there, as you can see, is we collected the first one. Same little ditty from Big Chief on this, albeit with different graphics. Oh dear, no repeat, sad face. So Wheel of Fortune is actually one of the better features. What happens there is if you don't collect it on the first spin, you get... Oh, that's going to be a hold them all. I think that's going to be hold them all, £3. That's your like hidden treasures there, is your hide and seek. Now here's a weird one. You can collect £3 repeater, or you can exchange for cash attack. Now I'm going to exchange for cash attack, but I think you would never really do this in real life. It just doesn't make sense to me, this cash attack. So let's keep track of what we've got. We've got a £1.20 up to now. You always get at least 2 wins. That's £2.40, and it can stop there. That might stop at £2.40 if it's been in a bad mood with us. That's it, £2.40. Now, it can go bigger than that, but the problem that I've got with it is that the £3 repeater can repeat, and repeats well. I have had it repeat straight out to £15 on more than one occasion, so I do not understand why you would exchange a guaranteed £3 repeater for cash attack, which can give us little, as like £2.40, as we saw there. It can go for more than that, but I don't understand the risk. I mean, if it was a straight £3, if the £3 wasn't a repeater, then I could understand taking the risk on exchanging for cash attack, because okay, it might do a little bit less than £3, but it could do more. But when you've got a guaranteed £3 repeater, it makes no sense to me whatsoever, that exchange. But I just thought I'd do it there to show you what it was. So that's kind of it. We're just trying to get... Oh, that's cool. Now, that might be just hold them all and press cancel, I think. I think we just hold them all and press cancel on that one, if memory serves, and that will bring in our £3 repeater. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to exchange over for that cash attack again. Let's see what it gives us. So there's £2. Let's just keep a track of what we're getting off this. Oh my god, £2. I just exchanged a £3 repeater for £2. You can see there that I do not... Oh, can't get a line there, unfortunately. I do not think you would exchange that ever, quite frankly. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. You would just collect the £3 repeater, but that is just for the purposes of that video, or of this video rather, to just show you how crap it is. So we can't get a line there, we can't even get a win. So what I'm going to try and do now is get... Oh, that's going to be a hold 'em all for the boxes. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to go through every single feature. There we are. Now, we're going to have to risk a high-low gamble here, so 6 is a bit of a sketchy number, but we're going to see the next feature, and we lost it. So that's a lose. So what I'm going to do now is just work through the features in order. We're going to do an exchange on every single feature, and hopefully see a couple more of the line features as well. But do remember, on the lines, you don't get a choice, you just get what you are given for that particular line. There we are, we've got a hide and seek, so that's just, obviously that's a nice, easy, hold them all. And now this is a super easy £3 repeater. The P Finder is really easy. You only have to get it 3 times. It goes £1, £2, £3 repeater. Now it'll go up to £2. Just keep an eye out. Doesn't go that fast. It never seems to go that fast as far as I can see. Now the last one for a £3 repeater. Oh, that was nice and easy. And there we go. That's £3 repeater. So there we are. There's our £3. Go for a repeat. No repeat for us. Okay, let's try and get the next feature. Now I think what you can do here, of course, is hold them all for 1 nudge. Just like the boxes on 7 Heaven. Shall we have another go at... let's have another go at the... well, we know what the P Finder is. Let's just go see if we can get to the £3 repeater. So we have got to the £3 repeater. We know what a £3 repeater is. Let's give this stupid cash attack one more go. I have had it do like £10, £12, something like that. I just don't see the point when it can do that off the £3 repeater that you've already got. So that's 380 we've got off it up to now. And that's it again, quite underwhelming. Right, so there's a £1 win. Let's see if it'll just let us gamble up to £1.20, which it has. So now we'll exchange for Fruit Bingo, which we haven't seen up to now. And then you just... Oh, 8 steps. That should be pretty good. Come on, surely that's going to be... What you've got to do is fill the lines up. Come on. More lines you get. Oh, £1.60 off 8 steps. That's quite bad, isn't it? Right, we'll carry on. Okay, we can get line number 3. Have we had this one? Yes, I can't remember. Oh no, cash stepper. It's pretty good, this one. Right, this is dead easy. You just stop it on the symbol that you want. And so obviously we're just going to stop it on the 7 here for a nice easy jackpot. So let's have the jackpot tune. Different tune from Big Chief, but I think I prefer the classic little Barcrest ditty for that. So there's a jackpot in the bank. We'll play it out to the bank limit. I also want to get the feature exchange that we haven't seen yet. We haven't had the £1.60 feature exchange yet, have we? Right, so it's a gamble on the 9 for the £1.60 exchange. Oh, you bastard. Okay, we'll have to keep carrying on for that one. Okay, here we are on the £1.60 exchange. So let's exchange for Super Win, which is basically a win picker. Looking like £2 up to... Oh, I should probably collect £2.20 there. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. Yes, I should have collected £2.20. Right, then let's just take it out to the bank limit and see if we can get another line along the way. Just for the record, there are so many ways to get the jackpot on this. It'll do hold after nudges, it'll hold above or below the win line for a jackpot, it will hold a jackpot after a win, all that kind of thing. As ever, because it's a small jackpot relative to the stake, our jackpot is only 30 times our stake. It doesn't really have to block it too hard, so there's lots of wins, lots of jackpots, lots of £3 repeaters on this. There, let's just see where... So we're going to go lower than a king, I think. I think we'll go lower than a jack as well. And I think we'll go lower than a 10. Oh, so shall we have another go on the Wheel of Fortune? Let's have another go on the Wheel of Fortune. I quite like this one. If you land on extra, by the way, you just get more spins. It's not like an extra win or something like that. It is, you just get more spins on it. Really good use of display on this as well. I think they use the display better. Way, there you are, jackpot offer, £2 exchange. I do think they use the display better on Apache than they do on Big Chief. Because I was thinking about this with Big Chief. The truth of the matter is, as lovely as the display is, you could kind of do Big Chief with a normal alphanumeric display, whereas Apache integrates the plasma DMD into the gameplay better. For my money, it does a better job of integrating the display into the game than Big Chief does. Well, there's a nice hide and seek. I think all we need to do there, hold them all and press cancel. Oh, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it has got us a line. I thought it was going to give us the box red 7s there, but we have got... Can't remember what this was. Oh, 12 free plays. It's not giving us the best lines here, I have to say. Shall we have another go on this fruit bingo? Because we didn't do very well last time. Even though we got loads of steps, we only got like £1.60. 6 steps, let's see what it fills up. But I don't think it's going to be very good, is it? Well, we actually did better than last time, didn't we? We got £2.20 off it this time, which is not too bad, off fewer steps. I guess it just depends where it sets the reels to at the start of the feature. Go on then, let's just have another go at Wheel of Fortune. So we try and get to the bank limit. Let's have another go at Wheel of Fortune, and we have got £1. We're certainly going to spin again there. That's not very good. Jackpot's coming round. Oh, it just stopped at the last one now, so we get what we're given unless we get extra spins, which we're not going to get. Oh no, sorry, we did just land an extra there. Very lucky. Right, okay. £1.60, that is not good enough. It's going to go past Jackpot. 80p, 6 spins here, and we haven't had a good off it. Where's it going to go? Is that going to make it round? No, £2, just £2 there off 6 spins. Not the best, but we'll take it. Well, we have to take it, we've got no choice. Oh, it's dropped in something there. Oh, it's just come straight back in. You can tell when you're going to get a win or a winning nudge opportunity, because it kind of does a long spin, just like it did there. Well, we know that's a nice, easy £3 repeater, so let's take Find the P again. Nice and easy, okay. It'd be nice if we could get an actual repeat on the £3, wouldn't it? So that's going there. And now for our £3 repeater, keep an eye on the P. Dead easy, that's a super easy Find the P. Let's just see if we can get a repeat on the £3. What's the bank limit? Is it £40? I'm not sure. See if we can get our repeat. Yay, there we go, repeat. Good. Ah, big happy face there. So there's our repeat, that'll take us up over £40. Another repeat, any chance? Oh dear. And we're still, the bank limit must be like £50. Well, we'll take it out to £50. Why not? That was a nice, easy hide and seek, and I think that should be, yeah, just hold them all, press cancel. I'm fucking sick of that cash attack. We're just going to collect our straight £3 repeater this time, because cash attack is shit. And I don't see the point of it. Not that we got a repeat on the £3, but it's still better than cash attack has done for us twice up to now, isn't it? So let's just do that again. Last time it did a hide and seek on this. We held them all and pressed cancel. And I guess you could do that and go for... Shall we do that and go for the nudge? I wonder what it'll do. Well, that was a bad idea, wasn't it? So we just got a nudge. I was getting optimistic there. See if... Oh, for fuck's sake. Completely fucked that one up. I should have just held them all and pressed cancel there. Well, live and learn. Right, we'll have an exchange on P Finder again, because it's just an absolute shoe-in for the £3 repeater. It doesn't seem to get, as far as I can tell, even if you just keep hammering the P Finder and take it every single time, it doesn't seem to get any faster. It's always just a really straightforward £3 repeater, so let's do that and get a nice £3 repeater. Last one, no problem whatsoever. And we'll take it out to what I'm guessing is the bank limit now at £50. I can't remember, what was the bank limit on Big Chief? Was it £50? Oh, repeat, that'll take us over. Either way, that's going to take us over £50. That's a nice big bank for a £6 AWP. Yeah, there we are, it is £50. I think Big Chief was £50 as well, wasn't it? Oh, we haven't managed anything too exciting on the repeats here, I'm afraid. But I have had it repeat straight out to £15 before. It doesn't seem to have, very much like Big Chief, it doesn't seem to have a streak in the true sense of the word. It is more like sort of little enhanced periods rather than what you'd call a full-on. So that's going to be a win. Can you see that? It was a long spin. Unfortunately, it is just the boxes. Not too good. Lower than a 10. Oh, dear me. Let's just play out our credits and then we'll collect out that super duper £49.20 bank, and then we will move over to Time Bandit. So there we are, all done. Oh, one nudge. I'll put token in just in case it wants to do a hold on that, which it doesn't. So that is going to be how much of that is tokens? I'm not sure how much of that is tokens. But that is a nice big bank. I think they changed the legislation at some point, didn't they, so that you couldn't have massive banks like that? Didn't they make it so the bank could only be 5 times the jackpot? I've got it in my head that the jackpot on the £6 machines, or rather the bank limit on the £6 jackpot machines, went down to 30 quid. Am I imagining that, or did that happen? I'm sure I remember getting massive banks on like Aces Play It Again, 50 quid, or something like that, and then they changed it to £30 bank limit. I think that was something that they enforced. But there we go, that is Apache, some decent gameplay on Apache there. We didn't get to see all the lines, we did have all the feature exchanges. If you watch it in attract mode, it will show you what all the lines are as it goes down, so you can, there you are, it's actually doing it now. You'll recognise a lot of them from Big Chief, but some of them, there's that stupid £1.20 bonus that we got before, some of them are unique, like that Cash Stepper, for example, is unique to Apache. Let's just watch it go up, there aren't that many of them. There's a £3 repeater bonus. So I think we've seen all of the ones of substance. The next one is that Cash Stepper. That's one of the best ones. That is always 3 quid or 6 quid. And I think we had the second one as well, didn't we? Yeah, Speed Nudge is 16. You can't go too far wrong with that. And of course, the top line is the worst. That's Free Play 6. Nice graphics, but it's just literally just £1.20 in tokens. So there we are. I think that's Apache done. So now we will move on to Time Bandit. So then, yes, this machine is a little bit bonkers to the extent that it successfully passed under the radar as an SWP for a couple of days until I got my hands on it, played it for myself and kind of said, hang on a minute, surely this thing is an AWP. So I opened up the door and you can see there that it's got an aim percentage of 86%. So for starters, SWPs were never set at 86%. That is a generous AWP percentage. The other thing that you get on the screen there is it says 20p fixed, cash plus tokens. Of course, the big selling point of SWPs was that they were always all cash payouts. The fact that this has got cash and tokens says pretty clearly it's an AWP, and true enough, when I was playing it, any win over £3 is paid in tokens. Add that in to the way it actually plays, and it does become fairly clear. Once you've played it for sort of 10 minutes, you're like, this is not an SWP, it's an AWP. So a little bit more chat about it over at Desert Island Fruits, and Chloe did correct the thread there to say that it's an AWP from BWB called Time Bandit. So let's put a $5 in and have a go. There we are, so you can see our credits there. So it's 20p a go, £6 jackpot, and what you do here, you start off on this outside board here, and you roll the dice every time. So it's 20p a play, so every time you press start, that's a play, and a lot of the time that happens. And then when you land at a time gate, you actually go into a feature and you go through the time gate to a period in history, and it puts you on a board, and depending on the board will depend on what the jackpot is. And it's got proper sampled sound, this one. It's actually got quite decent music. And what you do is you press start to go around the board like this. The cops come after you, and he's got me there, and that's it. That is game over, and now I'm back onto the outer board. Now there are like 5 or 6 different time periods that you can go to. The further forward they are chronologically, the bigger the prize. There's one in the future which is 2525, I think it is. Yeah, there it is. You can see there 2525. That's there, and I can't quite work out if that is a true skill stop or not. Sometimes it seems to be, and sometimes it isn't. But can you see there, we've got £6 at the end. The shittiest one is like some Jurassic era one where you've got a dinosaur chasing you. That's got like fucking £2 at the end of the board. But this is the only board that you can get straight jackpot on. It's the one in the future. So let's get going. And now this rather buxom lass is chasing me, so now we'll both throw a dice. So I think the sun is more than 100 million years old. I think this is where the idea came from that it's an SWP, is that it asks you questions. Yeah. Yes, of course it's more than 100 million years old. It can fuck us off with the black hole. You die if you get the question wrong. It can fuck us off with the black hole here as well. So we're on £5. We just want to avoid a 2 here. If we can avoid a 2, we've got the jackpot. Yay! So there we are, that's a £6 jackpot. And now what it'll do is put us onto a special board. So this is a repeat chance, so we can either land on a time gate for another go at a feature, or a black hole, which is like a feature repeat no. So you can see there we want 2, 4 or 6. And we got a 4, so now we get another feature, but it works the same. You've got to pick from the list again. But can you see there it's a true skill stop now. So obviously I want to stop it on 25-25 again, because that's the one that I can get the jackpot off. And that's given us a little... Oh, there's skill stop there. Now, it's not actually a skill stop, because we can die straight away here if we don't find the gems. Oh, we did actually get the gems there. That was quite lucky. Now we're going to get a question. How many million miles... Lower than... It's not 400 million miles, surely. Yeah, exactly. No way near. Oh, now see there, we got 3 of a kind on the dice. So we got 3 £3 dies. And now we've got 5. This is going to put us onto a 5er. Now I could collect a 5er. There's nothing stopping me from collecting a 5er at this point. But we'll go on for the full jackpot repeater. Oh! And that's it. Game over. I should have just collected the 5er there, shouldn't I? Oh, straight back in.
Atomic batteries to power.
Oh, now we're going back to 1876. Still have a shit. So that's £3 jackpot at the end of this one.
This is good.
Now, off we go. Now we've got the cowboy. So you can see there the awards on this one are somewhat slow. We're going to have to do a trial. So you see there we rick a dice. So we have to press... Oh, we can use our luck. We can use our luck to get out of it because we landed on the luck at the start of the trail. So now we get a release off that. So there we are. But you're still only 1 behind us. Oh dear, back. Oh, we're dead. We're dead.
Come on. Let's go.
Let me see. So these are all 20p plays. Every single time that you don't get on the board costs you 20p. Now we're back to 12.07. That's got a £2 jackpot. That's not very good, is it? Here he comes. So we have to get a question. And they're all, like, more or less. How many years old is the major oak? Higher or lower than... I think higher.
It's a hard one.
Oh, wrong. Silly Degsy. That's me binned off there. It's actually putting us on... So 12.07, that's the one we just had, isn't it? We'll try and get all the different time zones. Oh, and that's going to put us right to the end. Can you see there? Because I got the dice. I got the £3 dice. That puts me right to the end. It's only £2 at the end of this trail, but we do get the repeat chance. Because I've got to the end of the trail, we get the repeat chance. We want 2, 4 or 6 again. And we've gone down the black hole, so we don't get a repeat. Oh, straight back, and it's actually in a fairly good mood here. 1876. We haven't had... Oh, have we had that one? We have had that one, haven't we? Yes, of course. So this has got £3 at the end. Oh, and we didn't find it. It's a bit of a swizz, that skill stop thing. Unless I'm missing something, I don't think there's actually any skill involved whatsoever. So it's the Prohibition era again. Get for tax evasion. What? You know what? I honestly don't know. Lower than... So you can get... Yeah, you didn't get more than 35 years for tax evasion. Oh dear, now this is probably going to kill us. Just pure luck as far as I can see that. There we are, and we've... So, the only... Oh, we could get the... we could do with getting the 5000 BC, but that's where you've got the dinosaur chasing you. And I think that's £1 at the end of the trail on that. So here we are, so this could just kill us, randomly kill you when it wants to, this one. There, we haven't found it.
Come on.
And, oh, there we are.
Atomic batteries to power.
Can we get the 5000... I'm just actually trying to hit the 5000 BC here. We keep getting this, so he's going to come after us now. Let's have a question. What year was Custer's last stand? You know what? I'm ashamed to say, I don't know. I should probably know that. I shouldn't have, but I don't.
Let's go.
Let's put another... So that is the whole game, and I like it, it's good, but it just seems to be missing something. There isn't quite enough going on. Now, I cannot say if this was a machine that got as far as test, if it was actually a full released machine, or if it was just some kind of development machine that somehow we've managed to get the ROMs for. I really do not know, but to me, it just seems to be lacking a little bit of polish, the kind of polish that you would perhaps expect from a full machine. And let's just get this. How many American Indians were there in 1980? Oh god, low, I don't know, 1.75 million. Yeah, that sounds like quite a lot. It just doesn't feel quite there. It just doesn't feel to be the whole package to me. It's quite good fun. It's quite a good game. How many westerns has Clint Eastwood starred in? Oh, he's been in millions, higher than 12. Yay, there we are. That guy's getting close now. Oh no, that's us fucked, innit? He's got us. I mean, it's the kind of game that I would have quite liked to have played. You know, back in the early 90s, I think this would have been quite a fun game to play, but I think part of the problem with it is that I wouldn't, even if I had seen one of these, I would have had no idea what it was. Now, I guess we don't know what the machine artwork was like. I guess it would have been in the standard BWB video cabinet of the day, but let's just collect our bank out there. And what you will see is if you keep an eye on the attract mode, it gives you no clue whatsoever. You can see they're collecting out cash and tokens. So I played it for less than 10 minutes, to be honest with you, and I kind of worked out it wasn't an SWP, which is where I went back to the thread and said this isn't an S. And once I got the doors open and seen cash plus tokens, 80% payout, 86% payout rather, it became pretty obvious that it wasn't an SWP. But while I'm flanneling on there, just look, this is the whole attract mode. There are just 2 screens. Now, I guess they could have put more information on the machine decals and on the machine artwork to give you an idea of what it was that you were playing, but bearing in mind that this is a video AWP, you would have thought that they would have done some more work with the attract mode here. And this is what kind of makes me think it's maybe a test machine or a pre-test machine, because this is the whole attract mode. Just 2 static screens. If you walked up to this machine in an arcade or a pub and you just kind of stood there, shall I put some money in this or not? And you were just looking at these 2 screens, you would have no idea whatsoever what this game was. You wouldn't have a fucking clue, would you? And if you put £1 in, and then, I mean, obviously it's fine. If you get on the board, it's fine. I mean, okay, we got on the board there, but can you imagine? Oh, we've got the dinosaur one there. No, it's a quid. It's only a quid at the end of this board. Once we go past the little sort of stick there, we get a dinosaur chasing us. A talking dinosaur, by the way. You'll see that he does have a few lines that he can reel out when he wants to. Oh, straight down the black hole. He didn't have a chance to talk to us.
Let's go.
I mean, obviously I am landing on the board there, which is making it a little bit kinder. So let's just collect our 60p there. Collect it out. And let's just see if we can... I mean, it is just putting straight back on the board. But just imagine if you put £1 in. And it will do this. You can go 2 or 3 quid. When it's in a bad mood, you can go 2 or 3 quid quite easily without it putting you onto one of these boards. And if you did that on a real thing, you'd just be like, well, what the fuck is this? What am I actually playing here? You'd have no idea. Oh, there we are. We filled up the dice and that takes us round to 4 quid. It's not a bad game. Even though it is fairly limited, and I think it needed a bit more work, it's not actually... Oh, we've got the £6 jackpot potential on this one. And if I would have seen one of these and I'd have known what it was, I think I would have played this. What is the... Yeah, I knew that. I knew it was... Obviously, it's lower than everyone knows that. Oh, there's the fucking gems. That's going to fuck us off, probably. Nope.
Let's go.
So this is a really odd one. If anyone's got any memories of ever seeing or playing a real one of these, it would be fascinating to hear from you in the comments.
Let's go.
Because I thought I'd kind of... I mean, I played fruit machines all the time back in the early 90s. It was kind of all I did, left to my own devices. And I certainly never saw one of these. This is a completely new one on me. There we are, dinosaurs asking us a question. Higher than 5,000, surely. Yes, more than 5,000 years ago. My goodness. Oh, that'll take us right to the end, because it's only £1 at the end of the board there. So I think it's 6 boards. There's 6 different boards. There's a £1 board, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to a £6 board. So we do get a shot at... Oh, we can only go forward 1 now. That's the thing. So you can only go forward. You get a true skill at it. But yeah, that'll take us right to the end, though. So there we are. So that's £3 up now. So we've got a £1 board. Now we've got £2 board. So that's £3. And we get another chance at a repeat. Oh, and we haven't. So you can see there, you can go up 1 board at a time.
Come on. Let's go.
So definitely an interesting machine. I'm not sure how much sort of long-term... Oh, there we are. That's where I think it's a skill stop there. It does seem if you can hit it, it doesn't seem to fuck you off. But that'll take us all the way around to £3. Let's just see if we can get a last jackpot out of it. We'll go back 3. Come on, fella. Lower. Oh dear, I don't even know what that question was about. Right, well, what the fuck is True False Film? I don't know. Let's collect our bank out. So there you are, that's a real curiosity. I'm not quite sure what to make of this time gate. Really glad to have the chance to play it. It's, you know, oh, there, let's have 1 more board.
Atomic batteries to power.
It does get a little bit more, it's surprising. Even though there's, in many ways, there's not a huge amount going on, it is quite easy just to keep putting another pound in and have another go at the board. We'll have 1 more board. How minutes long? It's down to... Oh, it's fucking... I think it might have been... Was it... It was some ridiculous... Let's use our luck.
Yeah.
Oh, it was lower, but it was ridiculously long dances with walls, wasn't it? Let's just see if we can get to the end. Oh, that should do us. Yeah, that'll get us through to the end. That's £3. Let's collect our £3. See if we can get a repeat board. No, we haven't. As ever with these things, the best thing you can do is just have a go for yourself. All available over at Desert Island Fruits. And I think some of them are at Fruit Emu as well. And I would recommend both of these machines here. Apache, I think, having played it a fair bit, I would say I honestly prefer it to Big Chief, and that's saying something because I really like Big Chief. Time Bandit, definitely worth a go. Have a little play around with it. It is good fun. Real curiosity, this one, but I can't give you any kind of real world information because until Chloe released the layout over at Desert Island Fruits, I didn't have the faintest idea that this thing even existed. But it is interesting to see that BWB did try something else with their video tech. It wasn't just kind of the Reno reels and clones, you know, your Monte Carlo or Boston, your Miami Dice. They clearly were trying something else or thinking of trying something else. Although whether or not this machine got as far as a full release, I honestly can't tell you. So there we are. That'll do for this video. Thank you to everyone as ever who makes these layouts happen for us. And thank you to you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. But for now, it is goodbye and I'll catch up with you next time. Actually, I got that in the wrong... I've fucked up my outro. I haven't done a video for a couple of weeks and I've forgotten what order I do it in. Anyway, that's it. Cheers. Goodbye.